Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Calming Your Anxious Mind, How Mindfulness and Compassion Can Free You from Anxiety, Fear, and Panic, by Jeffrey Brantley, M.D., narrated by Barry Abrams. Forward. It gives me great pleasure to introduce this book to you. Jeff Brantley is a devoted practitioner of mindfulness meditation and a longtime teacher of mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR. Dr. Brantley has a great deal of clinical experience in working with people suffering from chronic stress, pain, and illness, and in particular with chronic anxiety. This book is a welcome introduction to mindfulness practice for all those who experience anxiety in their lives. That turns out to be just about all of us at one time or another. For anxiety is rampant in our age, a kind of cosmic background radiation impinging continually on our individual and collective psyches and amassing a deep cumulative tension in the body. Currents of anxiety can be behind the smallest things we choose to do or refrain from trying, at work, at home, and in our interior lives. Knowingly and unknowingly, anxiety can shape the very fabric and direction of our lives, whether we have a diagnosed anxiety disorder or not. For regardless of how well off or healthy we may seem to be to others or even to ourselves, being human, we are hardly immune, at least on occasion, to the mental state we know as fear, and to the short and long-term consequences it can have on the body, and on how we carry ourselves and respond to stresses and challenges. For the most part, we tend to run from fear rather than to examine it. It remains unexamined precisely because it is so terrifying a prospect actually to take a peek at it, and to acknowledge to ourselves how fear-based our lives and our decisions can be, and how inexperienced we are at facing and freeing ourselves from the inner workings of such pervasive and potentially destructive mental states. But taking a peek and letting yourself actually feel the fear in your body is worth doing, strange as that may at first seem. Anxiety, it turns out, can be a great teacher, and the lessons to be learned if we can be mindful, calm, and clear-sighted in the face of fear, anxiety, and perpetual worrying are profound. The mind's anxious preoccupations, proliferations, vexations, and frustrations sometimes seem endless. But, as Dr. Brantley points out, they do not have to be ultimately confining or imprisoning, and over time, their volume in our lives can turn itself down considerably. This book and the methods it presents can serve as a remarkable pathway to freedom from the imprisonment of chronic anxiety and panic, at whatever level they may manifest in your life. Mindfulness practice can serve as a doorway, giving ready access to deep and profoundly healthy dimensions of your being that you may have been ignoring for too long, to what you might call your best self. It turns out you do not have to fix anything or make anything go away to get in touch with yourself in this way. As you will learn in this book, all that is asked of you is that you start paying attention to aspects of your life and your immediate experience that you may have previously pretty much taken for granted. Several medical studies that we conducted on people with anxiety and panic disorder referred to our clinic for training in MBSR showed that the participants benefited enormously from this systematic cultivation of attention, as described in this book with great thoroughness and clarity by Dr. Brantley. From the point of view of MBSR, no matter what has transpired in your life up to this point, no matter what you are facing, no matter what feels wrong, you are fundamentally okay, worthy, and secure in this very moment, even if you don't know it or feel it. This is so even when the outer world appears overwhelmingly disorienting and threatening, and even when the interior world of your own mind feels tumultuous and shaky. But of course, you have to test out for yourself whether this is indeed true. The great adventure of mindfulness is to discover or recover that intrinsic, spacious, secure, aware, innermost quality of your being, way deeper than your thoughts and feelings, and allow it to inform and guide the moment-to-moment conduct of your life, even, if not especially, when faced by great inner or outer turmoil. This approach involves intentionally cultivating greater intimacy with the interior landscape of your life, that is, with your mind and your body and the breath that serves as a convenient link between them in the only moment you ever have, namely, this one. That is what mindfulness offers you. It is not a matter of eradicating anxiety, but rather becoming intimate with it through awareness, because it is already here. In making room for it, you discover that the anxiety you are experiencing in any moment is not you, but merely a constellation of strongly habitual thoughts, feelings, and body sensations that you may be investing with a power they would not otherwise have over your life, and which might therefore severely restrict your options for responding effectively in situations you find stressful, and which trigger these habitual patterns of reactivity. You discover you are mysteriously larger than these conditioned patterns hijacking the mind and body, and that your awareness of anxiety, fear, and worry is not anxious at all. It is already okay. Learning to inhabit your own awareness and deepen its scope and stability is a way to give you back to yourself and add significant degrees of freedom to your life. The great painter Georgia O'Keeffe once said, "I've been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing a single thing that I want to do." If we are willing to patiently and lovingly watch our own minds, our own mental turmoil, our own fears and hesitations and despairing thoughts, and our own body reactions to those very thoughts, we will come to see how much bigger we are than they are. We will discover something of our own truest nature. It may come as a surprise to experience for yourself how large and beautiful and transparent you already are. This book is an invitation to practice mindfulness, whether on any given day you feel like it or not, as if your life depended on it, and be surprised. Jon Kabat-Zinn, Ph.D., Professor of Medicine Emeritus, University of Massachusetts Medical School Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare, and Society. Introduction to the Revised Edition. Who are we apart from the agitation of anxiety, fear, and panic? Can we learn to remember ourselves, to recollect our greater wholeness, and meet the intensities of anxiety, fear, and panic, especially in a world that seems too often to be going mad? Can reconnecting with our own wholeness provide a safe enough context for wise relationship to the enormous challenges of fear, anxiety, and panic? Could this self-remembering lead us to a path of healing and transformation, not only for ourselves, but possibly for those around us facing the same challenges? And could our own healing and transformation somehow contain benefits beyond ourselves to our world, which is so often driven and shaped by fear and anxiety? It is not often that one is offered the opportunity to go back and add to a work already completed. But when I was asked if I had anything else to say about mindfulness and anxiety, and would I be interested in doing a revised edition of Calming Your Anxious Mind, I was given just that opportunity. In the several years now since the book was first published, I have been amazed and honored by the positive reception it has received. I have heard from listeners around the world and from healthcare professionals and clients, all wishing to thank me and telling me how much the book has helped them. So, what could be added to the revised edition? Since the first book, I have had the opportunity not only to speak to listeners, but also to teach classes based on the approach of applying mindfulness and compassion to manage fear, anxiety, and panic. In those conversations and classes, I have heard requests for more information about research and meditation, and also more specific instruction for meeting the difficult energies of fear, anxiety, and panic with spaciousness and open-heartedness. Of course, people have also had new and very thoughtful and challenging questions. Finally, many have noted how practicing mindfulness seemed to have put them in touch with a dimension within that changed their relationships with their lives in a positive way. Practicing mindfulness with kindness and compassion, they really did begin, it seems, to reconnect with a sense of wholeness that had never left them, but that they themselves had somehow forgotten existed. So the emphasis in this revised edition is on these emergent areas, more clarity and data about meditation and its benefits, especially related to anxiety, some new and expanded instructions for actually practicing mindfulness and resting in spaciousness and stillness, new questions and responses, and some additional emphasis pointing at wholeness through poems and narrative, in brief and selected language in many of the chapters. Supporting these additions are 2 entirely new chapters, and existing chapters have new sections on research, more questions, and additional discussion. There are also new references and resources at the end of the book. As with the original edition, it is my deepest hope that this revised version may help all those who struggle with fear, anxiety, and panic, and that to the extent they can find peace and ease, may their ease help our world become more peaceful. So many thanks to all who hear about and practice mindfulness. And now, back to the original introduction. When worlds meet and merge. We live in truly interesting times. In this book, you will find ideas and information from 2 apparently very different worlds. From the world of evidence-based Western medicine, you will hear about the connection between mind and body, and about the vital role of thoughts and emotions in health and illness. In addition, you will learn more about the body's fear system and how it functions and malfunctions to produce anxiety and panic. From the world of meditation and inquiry into meaning and purpose, you will learn about the practice of mindfulness and the potential for presence and stillness in every human being. You will discover that you have the same potential for awareness and peace as everyone else, and that you have an untrained mind with its own hindrances, just like everyone else. In a curious sense, this book represents a major trend in modern society. We now see the crossover between traditions and areas of knowledge and information previously regarded as quite separate and distinct. In this book, you will find references to current medical views alongside citations from meditation teachers of international renown. This convergence of worlds opens many questions. At present, there are not so many answers. But the fact is that treatments offered by Western medical science do not work for everyone. This is especially true of treatments for anxiety and panic. Consequently, many healthcare providers have been looking to other sources for ways to promote healing and health. This has led many to investigate the health and healing potential of meditation. As a result, meditation has become much more widely used in Western healthcare settings over the past 25 years. Who this book is written for. This book is designed to help anyone who is burdened by fear, worry, anxiety, or panic and would like to do something to improve the situation. If you have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder and are being treated for that, Or if you have no diagnosis but feel the pain of fear, worry, anxiety, or panic from whatever source, the approach in this book is directed at you. Healthcare providers who seek to aid those beset by fear, worry, anxiety, or panic will find useful information about mindfulness and meditation, as well as valuable support for their own meditation practice experience. The invitation, challenge, and opportunity of mindfulness. The approach offered in this book relies on a basic human quality called mindfulness. Mindfulness may be understood as friendly, non-judging, present moment awareness. To succeed with this approach, you must learn and use a variety of meditation practices, all directed at cultivating mindfulness. As a training program in mindfulness aimed at dealing with fear, worry, anxiety, or panic, this book is an invitation, an opportunity, and a challenge as well. It's an invitation in that the practices you will learn are a gentle call to stop and pay more attention to yourself and your life. They invite you to allow the awareness that flows naturally from that act of paying attention to inform how you live each day and each moment in each relationship and with yourself. The invitation to practice mindfulness is an invitation to come into a new and more wholesome relationship with your own experience, including fear, worry, anxiety, or panic. As you practice mindfulness, you will have a rich opportunity to discover the inner space, stillness, and simplicity that are our natural heritage as human beings. It is a heritage we so often forget, yet we long for it deeply as our lives seem to spin more and more out of control. By taking this opportunity to learn and develop skills for being more present, you can realize in yourself the spaciousness and stillness that can safely contain even the most anxious moments of heart and mind. But be warned, doing what is asked here is a challenge. Mindfulness is not always easy to achieve or to sustain. You will have moments when you are filled with doubt and don't want to do any more meditation. There will be times when you don't like it. But you don't have to like it. Just do it. Cultivating awareness takes effort. Changing the habits of inattention and distraction we have developed over a lifetime is hard work. It is more hard work to allow yourself to stop and feel the present moment in its fullness. And it can be very hard work learning to open when you desire to close down, or learning to stay present for what is painful and unwanted in your life, especially when it is clouded by fear and great anxiety. Kindness and compassion. Mindfulness is practiced by paying attention on purpose, non-judgmentally, and with a welcoming and allowing attitude. It means turning toward present moment experience rather than away from it. Two qualities that support this way of relating to experience are kindness and compassion. Kindness here means friendliness or open-heartedness. It enables you to welcome experience. Compassion is usually associated with feelings of empathy and concern for pain or suffering in another. With this recognition of pain and suffering comes the wish for it to end. The practice of compassion carries with it a willingness to remain present and in contact with the painful situation in the hope of bringing some measure of relief. In this book, you will be invited to apply kindness and compassion to yourself and to the pain you feel from anxiety, fear, and panic. You will learn a specific meditation practice to cultivate these qualities in your life. For your mindfulness practice to deepen, it is very important that you open to and explore these qualities of kindness and compassion in yourself. Mindfulness and compassion can free you from anxiety, fear, and panic as you learn to be present with an awareness that remains soft and open to pain and suffering. Learning to remain present with compassion for yourself as you bear the pain of anxiety, fear, and panic is an important part of your inner journey in meditation. As you learn through meditation to remain soft and open-hearted in the presence of pain and fear, you will also learn what it means to be free of their control. Self-help is not a substitute for treatment. When you learn to do something to help yourself, you become an even more active and effective partner in your own treatment and health care. If you're receiving treatment for a diagnosed condition, this activity on your part can make a crucial difference in the progression and outcome of your illness. Self-help skills and practices can also have a significant and positive impact on your quality of life as you cope with the illness. The mindfulness training offered in this book is a powerful self-help resource. However, it is in no way intended to be used as a substitute for any medical or psychological treatments you are already receiving. While meditation is an extremely friendly and safe activity, please consult with your therapist or physician before doing the practices in this book if you are currently in treatment for any psychological or psychiatric condition. If you have a history of severe anxiety or trauma, you may need to use meditation in partnership with good treatment. Mindfulness, a way of living, not a technique. Although many people learn to practice mindfulness as part of a larger treatment plan for a specific medical or psychological condition, it is a mistake to think of mindfulness as simply a treatment technique. While there is exciting evidence that practicing mindfulness might aid treatment, mindfulness itself is most powerful and most effective when practiced as a way of living. Failure to appreciate this larger view of mindfulness ignores the ancient tradition of mindfulness as a practice pursued by countless people in many places and times. The essential power of the practice of mindfulness may be distorted or even lost by those who see it as only a technique. Mindfulness is based in a daily meditation practice. In this book, you will be encouraged and guided in starting and maintaining your own meditation practice as a vehicle to cultivate mindfulness in your life. If you are interested in using mindfulness as part of a larger approach to treatment for an anxiety problem, the approach in this book will certainly help you. But you can enrich your life even more by considering mindfulness an integral approach to being in the world. Experiential learning. You must actually do the meditation practice to benefit. It will not help you much if all you do is hear about mindfulness. In fact, some of it may sound crazy until you actually try it. For example, in doing the body scan, you will be asked to breathe in and out of your toes. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? This instruction has to do with feeling the direct sensations of your breath and the sensations in your toes and holding all of that with steady attention. At this point, maybe that sounds crazy too. Please, make no judgments until you actually do the meditation practices. To realize what mindfulness means and how it can transform your life and your relationship to fear, anxiety, and panic, you must actually experience mindfulness through practice. There is a capacity inside each of us to be calm and stable. We are capable of containing even the most intense fear and anxiety. This capacity is not something you can think about and understand. It is a direct experience that is always available. It is not a destination, but a way of being. Discovering your own capacity for calm, steadiness, and awareness requires turning inward and using your natural ability to pay attention. To turn inward this way is to meditate. This book is about learning to meditate in a very basic way that nourishes mindfulness, or friendly, non-judging awareness. The practices you will be invited to do in this book are about stopping and looking around. You will be invited to practice being and not doing. You will discover that it is possible to be more present with just about everything you do. To support this, you will learn how to establish calm attention and a relaxed feeling in the body. A calm attention and a relaxed body are important elements of meditation. The practices in this book are compatible with any faith tradition or religious practice. They are simply about being present in this calm and relaxed way, and opening to what is here, in us and in our life. If you accept this challenge, commit to practicing meditation regularly, and have enough energy and discipline to make the practices in this book a part of your life, there is a very good chance you will begin a process of profound life change and transformation. Take as much time as you need to develop these practices. The important thing is that you remain committed. In making this commitment to being aware and paying more careful attention, you will join people from all walks of life, cultures, and creeds who have discovered the profound richness that is available when we become mindful, or truly present to life. And you will realize what it truly means to calm your anxious mind. The goals of this book. The goal of this book is to offer a self-guided training program in mindfulness meditation to ease the burden of fear, panic, and anxiety. It is suitable for people who wish to begin a mindfulness practice or to deepen a practice they already have. The meditation practices taught here are typical of those taught in a mindfulness-based stress reduction program. They are accessible and easy to learn. More specifically, as you read this book and learn the practices, you will gain a direct and real sense of what it means to practice mindfulness. Armed with this understanding, you will be able to use mindfulness practice to more effectively manage fear, panic, and anxiety in your life. A real and direct understanding of mindfulness as a way of living and being in life, with all the richness that brings. Beyond managing fear, you will discover unexpected benefits of being more present for life. A deep sense of your own wholeness and potential for healing and transformation through the process of facing fear, worry, and anxiety. How to use this book. This book contains several different types of information. It provides current information and resources about mind-body health, mindfulness, meditation, and applications to conditions such as fear, worry, anxiety, and panic. I include numerous examples of people facing situations of fear, anxiety, and panic. These examples come directly from my experience with hundreds of meditation students. Of course, their names and identifying personal details have been changed for confidentiality. A large part of this book is devoted to the instruction and practice of mindfulness. Commentaries and guided meditation narratives focus on specific mindfulness practices. The power to heal and transform lies in doing the practices. You will notice that there is great detail in the guided meditations. You might try breathing several times gently and naturally between each line of the narrative. This will help you do your practice better. The goal is to eventually learn to meditate without the guided meditation phrases. They are not the only words to use to do any of these mindfulness practices. The guided meditations give you a place to start. As you become more practiced and confident, you can let the guided phrases go. Learn to trust your own awareness and wisdom.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?